Hi guys, this is Tablet-News.com and I'm here with the HUAWEI MatePad 12X 2025 with the PaperMatte treatment for the screen. We have here a complete package, so much so that it can even become a laptop, and at least in Eastern Europe it comes bundled with a brand new stylus which has a extra button here which you can press, and you can also pinch it in order to trigger some extra gestures. Aside from getting the bundle M Pencil Pro, which is brand new, you're also getting this keyboard cover which actually turns it into sort of a laptop. It's supposed to be a sort of iPad Air rival. It was mentioned even in the presentation, that purpose. 144Hz screen protected against glare, plenty of RAM, plenty of storage, and at the same time a brand new CPU compared to the predecessor, and quite the battery, 10,000 mAh if not even more, and fast charge. And it also comes with Filmora with the ability to edit video on the go, and aside from that there's also AI and of course the excellent Go Paint application with layers and the ability to turn your drawings into animations. Okay, when everything's said and done, I think it's time to start the review. First things first, design. Now the device you can see here has a creamy texture. You know the dessert macarons, that's what it inspired from. This is the green version, it's called Greenery, and it goes to 13 steps of production. It has a special mica powder applied. It measures only 5.9 millimeters in thickness, which is just like the predecessor. It weighs 555 grams. Once again, like the predecessor, you can easily fit it in your backpack or even a tote bag, I think, but you should probably protect it with this keyboard case. The camera finish is actually a tribute to the Huawei Nova series, at least that's my idea. It's pretty easy to handle. We have the bezels large enough to fit your hands. That's fine. The grip is also okay. Not very sure how we're doing with IP certification. As far as I know, we don't. We have a rough aluminum for the unibody approach here, and at the top side you can attach magnetically the brand new stylus M Pencil Pro. The keyboard is very light, 308 grams, that's the weight we're dealing with here. Key travel 1.5 millimeters. General spacing, keycaps 16.5 to 16.5 millimeters. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Now, as far as the screen is concerned, let's talk about it. The screen here keeps the diagonal of the predecessor, which is 12 inches. The resolution is 2800 over 1840 pixels. The screen to body ratio is 86.0%. Refresh rate is 144 Hz. It's not for nothing that I downloaded and installed the Delta Force application for gaming. The maximum brightness is promised up to 1000 nits of brightness. And we also have a test video to show you the prowess of the screen. It's a pretty bright panel with pretty well calibrated colors. Pretty wide view angles. Even though they're a bit impacted by the anti-glare protection, we have some lights here in the studio, and as you can see, we're not having any problems with the reflection. So this one is a pretty quality panel, but this time protected against glare. Now let's see how it did in our tests. Okay, so we have the device here. You can see its specs here. The screen is an IPS LCD, that's what it says here, and the tests involve a brightness of 707 lux units. It's not a record, but for tablets it's okay. It goes past a few models. Let's see which ones. So we surpassed Galaxy Tab S10 Ultra, MatePad 11.5, Apple iPad 10 2022, but it's below the Galaxy Tab S10 FE and some MatePad Pros, which are obviously superior on account of those having AMOLED and not, well, this one here. However, you should know that this is a new type of panel. It's PaperMatte Display Ultra Clear with a special engraving nanoscale technology for higher precision. So anti-glare is also improved from the previous generation. It also has a certain resilience to writing. What am I talking about? So if you're taking a note, for example, it provides some resistance just like the pen would on paper, which is something special here. The panel is meant particularly for drawing and handwriting, replacing your graphical tablet. Okay, now as far as the other specs are concerned, you can go to IDA and learn more about the device. Now the CPU we have here is a Kirin T92B octa-core. We also have 12 gigs of RAM available here, as well as 256 gigabytes of storage. The predecessor had 8 or 12 gigabytes of RAM and a Kirin T90A processor, so the CPU has been upgraded. The cooling system is now 27% more powerful, and it's supposed to dissipate heat more efficiently. Once again, you can play Delta Force with ease with no overheating, and let's see how our performance tests behaved. So let's go to Chrome and see some benchmarks. In Antutu 10, we are above the MatePad 11 and several other tablets. We surpassed Galaxy Tab S10 FE, even a MatePad Pro and a Redmi Pad Pro, but we score below the iPad 10 from 3 years ago. Antutu 11 is out, and this is the first tablet I've tested in this benchmark. Geekbench 6 has us above the Xiaomi Pad 6s Pro, which is actually not bad, and above some older MatePad Pros, which is once again not that bad, considering that nowadays higher-end devices achieve similar scores. Tablets in the mid-range department, once again, not a bad score. Here we're above older MatePad Pros, as you can see for yourself, and below the latest Galaxy Tab, as you can see right here. It's definitely not a powerhouse, but it can run with ease any game you can imagine in the app gallery and more. You're probably wondering about the temperature. In benchmarks, 31.7 degrees Celsius, one of the coolest tablets around, and in games, 34.6, once again pretty cool and pretty nice heat dissipation. I have a theory which says that the throttling may be the one keeping the temperature under control, because there is a bit of throttling going on here. We lost 42% performance throughout the 15 minutes of testing. Is it worth it? I think yes, if the cooling is there. Anyway, let's talk about the battery. As the specs show, we have a pretty generous battery here. I'm talking about a 10,100 mAh unit, just like the predecessor from 2024, and the charging is at 66 watts. Again, we don't have a charger in the box, but that's common practice nowadays. Now, if you go here in the battery section, you're going to learn that the video playback time is 12 hours and 36 minutes. Not a record and not hugely impressive, but who is willing to binge 12 hours in a row and waste his life doing this? I mean, only on a plane, maybe. Anyway, let's see how we're dealing here compared to other tablets. We surpassed Galaxy Tab S10 Ultra, Xiaomi Pad 6s Pro 12.4, Tab S8 Ultra, but we scored below some MatePad 11s and Tab S5e and some MatePad Pros. Continuous usage is actually a bit more impressive with 12 hours and 6 minutes. We cracked top 10. We surpassed even some MatePad Pros, which are hardcore tablets, and we're not very far from the top place devices. I mean, the top one doesn't even reach 14 hours, so 12 hours is just fine. We're below the iPad 10, Tab S10 FE, but we're beating quite a few other slates in our top here. Now the charging, I actually had a 66 watt charger laying around from a Huawei phone. It required 1 hour and 23 minutes for full charge, which for a tablet is actually solid, and in 30 minutes you're at 48%, which is just good. Obviously there are battery saving features and performance mode. We have the actual performance mode, we have the power saving mode, we have battery health, and so much more. Okay, that's that battery wise. Let's talk about the speakers. We have 6 speakers available on this device, and let's check them out. Very powerful bass, lots of vibration throughout the aluminum unibody design, but a pretty crisp sound. The high notes aren't that good, but the bass is actually quite fine. They're placed 3x3, so we seem to have 2 here. We actually have 3, and the other 3 is here. None at the bottom, so they're placed on the side. You can definitely enjoy them. At the top left, there's a tweeter and a woofer. At the bottom, a woofer. At the top right, you have the same setup, which is an excellent one, a balanced one. Now let's hear it for our test, decibel meter test. So we achieved 88.6 decibel at the top speaker and 86.7 decibel at the bottom speaker. We're in pretty good company here. I would say that we're achieving a pretty decent result. So as you can see here, one of the biggest achievements is surpassing Galaxy Tab S10 Ultra. We also surpassed the Huawei MatePad 11.5, one of the versions, and scored below some Galaxy Tab S6, Tab A, MatePad 11, Redmi Pad Pro, and so forth. In games, we had a satisfying 95.2 decibels. We surpassed several Galaxy Tab models. I'm actually curious which ones. Tab S10 FE, Tab S9 FE Plus in the same range of price, and Huawei MatePad 11.5 from this year, 2025. We were surpassed by the Xiaomi Pad 6s Pro, Tab S10 Ultra, and Tab S5e, to name just a few. I'm satisfied with the speakers and a very strong bass. Now let's talk about the camera. The camera is probably the last aspect you look at when buying a tablet, but this one even has a flash for some reason. Anyway, it's a large tablet, 12 inch, it's weird to take photos with it, but let's talk. So, main 50 megapixel camera with LED flash. and it's useful for a document scanner. The speedy AF for focus, and that's it. This one here is not an extra sensor, perhaps only for focus or bokeh or something like that, but it's not mentioned in the specs as an extra camera. Now, at the front, for your video call needs, we have an 8 megapixel shooter with full HD capture. Once again, video calls and zoom, that's what it's for. Of course, we do not insist too much on the actually testing it. We do have some photos. We have something like 17 photos. You can see them here. They're pretty basic. They're something that we would achieve with a phone that costs $200 or something like that. The colors are pretty fine. They're pretty well calibrated. It was a pretty rainy day, so we kept it indoors. I mean, if you definitely want to post them on social media, you can, but be prepared to focus on them properly. Don't move very fast. They'll be blurry like this. Anyway, if you want to see camera options, we also have those. We have photo, we have beauty, we have the more section with panorama, time-lapse, stickers, documents, and even high-res. Okay, now it's time to address connectivity, because that's also a thing here. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and so forth. On the connectivity front, Huawei MatePad 12X 2025 comes with basically everything you need to perform your work from home or from the office, minus cellular connectivity. We do have Wi-Fi 7, which is always a big plus. It's an upgrade, a considerable upgrade from the Wi-Fi 5 of the predecessor. And it's a dual band connection. You have Bluetooth 5.2, you have an USB-C 3.1 port at the bottom side with OTG support, and you have 3 magnetic pins here to connect accessories to the device. We also have the attachment area at the top side for the stylus. Okay, so let's see what we achieved. Let's see what speed test is showing. We put to work the Wi-Fi 7, and here we go. 757 mega per second download, 762 mega per second upload. I would say we're doing quite fine. And latencies were also pretty decent, as you can see for yourself here. No packet loss and everything just fine. So if you want to do some gaming in Delta Force or send your mates the project you've exported in Filmora, you can easily do that. Now, I don't know if you know this, but Huawei invented a new type of short-range protocol. It's called Near Link, for decreased latency of keyboards, of mice, of styluses or styli. Anyway, it's developed by the Near Link Alliance, which is led by Huawei. So yeah, it's a more performing alternative, energetically efficient compared to Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. It's a stable connection. It's a fast connection. Accessories will connect like a charm, including the keyboard and the stylus. So yeah. There's also the Huawei Super device thing here. You can interconnect headphones, speakers. Huawei also makes TVs, laptops, monitors, what have you. And now let's talk about the software. So here we go. This is Harmony OS. The version is 4.3. If you really want to get into it, 4.3.0, at least for now. Okay, so first things first, it should be very different if you're coming from Android. So you have the Huawei app gallery where you can find 200,000 applications, including the game Delta Force. But if you want more, you can install any Google app from here, and it will automatically install MicroG. And MicroG lets you access all of your Google accounts synced to your applications. Even if you're talking about YouTube, you can see here that I actually have my account logged in here. This is my account for testing, and it's been synced. And once you sync one account to one Google applications, all of them will be synced, including Gmail, including Docs, including all the other famous applications, including Drive and Maps with your reviews on the maps. Aside from that, you can also install Gbox, which is sort of a sandbox. It lets you have access to the Play Store, and here you can find all the applications you are missing, shopping applications, editing applications, and of course streaming applications like HBO Max and so forth. So that's how you get access to the hardcore experiences. Okay, so we ran YouTube with ease and we emulated Google Play, and now let's talk about the productivity. Okay, so let's talk about the stylus. This is the brand new M Pencil Pro, and it has several cool features. If you press at the bottom or the back, it triggers an application like the note-taking application. If you squeeze it, you can trigger a palette of options like tips, like colors, and so much more. This is the Notes application. If I were in GoPaint right now, I would be able to trigger a different palette with different options, including cutting, rotating the images, and also a color picker and so much more. So that's what the stylus does. It's very accurate. It has tens of thousands of levels of pressure, and it actually imitates writing in a very proper manner. It also has 3 interchangeable tips, and you can also do a certain, so to say, rotation of it. I'm going to show you in a minute. So when painting, we have a brand new rotation gesture where you can actually add effects as if they were a ribbon. So not sure if I'm doing this properly, but you can definitely find a proper brush and do something like this. Hope I'm doing it right, but the idea is to create a certain effect. The 3 tips it has, one is for painting, one is for writing with small fonts, and the third one is for regular writing. The pinch can be set up, the sensibility can be set up, it can be deactivated. You also have double tap features and even more. You can actually customize the squeezing, the tapping, the bottom here, and it's actually an excellent stylus, nothing to complain about. Now, we also have the keyboard, which is obviously comfy. If you go to the note-taking application, you can start a new note. Okay, so we have this writing area here. Let's see how fast my typing is. Hi guys, we are just reviewing the device. So 300-gram keyboard here with 1.5mm travel and generously spaced all around. Now, as far as the applications are concerned, I'm sure you already know GoPaint from the previous presentations. This application comes with a huge amount of brushes, all sorts of textures and things like that. It works with layers, actually multiple layers. You just saw me before creating a sort of animation here, like this one. I think this was actually the starting point, and this is the actual animation, and I made this little fox run using a tutorial online. Another cool application, and there's a partnership between Huawei and this one as far as I know, it's Filmora. I actually used Filmora before. It has AI, you can record your voice, you can clone your voice, you can actually do so much more, AI caption, text to speech. You start a new project. I have here some gameplay from a Donkey Kong Nintendo Switch game. I do all of this, I import all of them, and then I can easily do this. I can actually pinch it, I can add audio, I can actually trim it, I can also add transitions here, some of them cinematic, mask, simple roll. I can also record my voice and change it and export the video I have selected at the end, and this should become a video review. Okay, so for audio you go here and I press record. Hey guys, this is a Donkey Kong game and I'm showing you here some gameplay. Let's see if this can be the game of the year 2025. Okay, now we do this. Probably going to be noisy from the game. Hey guys, this is a Donkey Kong game and I'm showing you here some gameplay. Let's see if this can be the game of the year. So we should actually mess around with the samples we have here, leave it available like this, and see how we can tweak the volume of this sample I selected here. This is the volume, I can turn it down, so I'm able to hear myself just a bit better. Hey guys, this is a Donkey Kong game and I'm showing you here some gameplay. Let's see if this can be the game of the year 2025. Okay, that's just one example. So lots of things to do here for productivity, for your notes. In the notes application, you can also have multiple notebooks, headers. There's also extra things here, like for example, you can change the template. You can also, let me just get rid of this maybe. Okay, so aside from the whole text writing thing, you can also use this, the actual input. You can also record audio from your teacher in the classroom together with the things you're writing here. You can work with multiple notebooks. You can also do split screen, and you can alternate between notebooks with ease. Multitasking happens like this. You can also have split screen, and I think this covers the whole experience. Okay, so I think this is the end of the review. The pros and cons. On the pro side, very appealing bonuses for the pre-order. You get the keyboard, you get the stylus, you get a special screen protection for a year. I'm talking about something like a warranty for the screen. Excellent acoustics from the 6 speakers on board. Ultra Clear PaperMatte is a very good idea. It ditches all the problems with the reflections. It's very close to the experience of actual writing pen on paper. It actually provides you with sort of a resistance. Pretty nice feedback when passing the stylus on the screen, even if you're taking notes. By the way, there's an extra notes application, the Notepad, not only the regular one. So yeah, there's that. Once again, it's probably the most pen on paper experience I've experienced recently. So feedback when passing the stylus on the screen. The GoPaint application, I cannot believe it's free. It's like a huge store for people passionate with drawing and doodling and animations. You can actually do animations with your creations with a push of a button. Pretty nice multitasking, and I would say pretty decent battery life and reasonably fast charging. And the stylus, honestly, it kind of sells the tablet by itself, and I'm loving the whole palette thing. which lets you do a lot of things, including in Windows. You can take snippets, quick notes, or annotate if you really like something you see on the screen. So those are the pros. On the cons, the surface of the screen draws fingerprints quite fast. The camera doesn't impress, but we didn't want it to. It doesn't have a 4G or 5G version, only one configuration and no card slot, and no protection. I'm talking about a fingerprint scanner. Plus, the charging is a bit slower than the Pro version. However, at the end of the day, you're getting a sort of laptop replacement, a stylus that even Apple would envy, and a lot of productivity for the creative side when it comes to Go Paint, when it comes to the Filmora applications, and a few more. So that's it. Plus gaming via the 144 Hz refresh rate. It's a pretty complete tablet. The price can only go down here. Black Friday is coming, who knows, but even now the price is good at around 600 euros for this bundle. So that's it from Tablet-News.com. Hope you enjoyed the review. We'll be back with more very soon.